Hi everybody, Rochelle here from Quebec CICHLID. Welcome to another episode of Fish Store Xtreme Makeover. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the 150-gallon tank that leaked last September. And I'm going to show you all of the steps I did to fix it. It was supposed to be an easy fix, but it ended up being one of the most complicated projects I've had to do up to date. So stay tuned. My story starts in September 2019, when everybody was still allowed to hug their friends and to do their groceries without fearing for their lives. I came back from a week off work to find my store flooded with 100 gallons of water. Luckily, there was still water in the aquarium and I was able to save all the fish. I had been planning on fixing up the front part of the store, but when this happened, I was not ready to do it at the moment. This forced me to stop procrastinating and get on with it. This is September, so it still took me like 6 months to do it. In a previous episode of Fish Store Xtreme Makeover, I showed you how I fixed up the wall the tank was on. I put 4 breeder aquariums and they look amazing, and they still look amazing to this day. As for this aquarium, I fixed up some cement blocks at the base for the tank. This is going to be my centerpiece. The cement blocks will be covered up once the whole thing is set up. It's gonna look a little nicer. But this is just the base. I resealed the tank. In this video, you see me resealing the tank on this side. I wouldn't suggest this, as it was hard to get a nice finish on the top side. I was trying something out, and it didn't work out as I would have thought. I made a video on how to reseal an aquarium a couple of years back, and I didn't use any painter's tape in the video. I found out about this technique on YouTube and have been using it ever since. The finish is a lot nicer than the sloppy job it does without tape. So we put some styrofoam on the cement blocks, put the tank on them, and 48 hours later, we filled up the tank. End of story, and we lived happily ever after. Wrong! Not even 10 minutes after having filled up the tank, the frame broke. Well, in my defense, it was already broken. I had tried fixing it with silicone. I really did a bad job on that. And when it broke, the glass panes moved and it broke the seal I had just made. I don't have any footage of this disaster of when it happened, because the store was packed. It actually happened during store hours. The tank just was leaking all over the place. There were people everywhere walking around like if it's business as usual. And I'm just there rummaging through all my stuff, trying to pick the water up while people are asking me questions about what fish go well with other fish, and it was utter chaos. Don't worry, there is more footage later on of the disasters, because it's not over, guys. It's not over. So back to the montage. I removed the old silicone, and when doing so, I noticed something that I had never encountered before. I dismissed it as something that would be fixed with the new seal. I shouldn't have done that. What happened is that the bottom glass pane moved as I put my weight on it. It usually doesn't, as there is a structural silicone that holds everything together. Usually, it's just a leak-proof seal that is compromised. So once the old seal was removed, I had to remove the frame. This is an old Marineland tank, and I had to contact them in order to get a new one shipped to me, as my distributor doesn't hold this brand anymore. I had great service from Marineland. They were worried about the frame breaking during transport, but in the end, everything went perfectly well. Removing the frame on a tank this big is the worst. You have to break the silicone that sticks it to the tank with an X-Acto blade, and then you pull with all your might to break the frame off. I'm using cutters and shears, as you can see, to destroy it. I had to get creative. This was exhausting. And it doesn't come off clean. You have to do it in many different parts. And after looking at the time frames of the video, I saw that it only took 20 minutes to remove. but it felt like 4 hours, so I'm gonna say it took 4 hours to remove. That night for supper, I ate an Advil sandwich. Now you see me naively resealing the tank, doing a nice job, being excited about my refurbished tank, not even thinking about that structural seal that's just destroyed. To set up the new frame, you don't need to put silicone everywhere. I just used what was left in my tube from the tank, and now we fill it up. This beautiful result was filmed at 10:30 a.m. 10 minutes before closing. It's 5:50 p.m. This is what happens. At least this time I was alone and could film, so I used my pumps to empty it out and all the buckets at my disposal to avoid having to pick up the water off the floor. As far as disasters go, this one wasn't so bad. My pride took a hit though. When the frame broke the first time, it broke the structural seal. But that frame isn't just for show, it's important to hold the whole structure together. Now at this point, I've never fixed a tank in this condition before. It's as good a time as any to learn. We set the tank upside down. We didn't show you how we removed the bottom frame because it pretty much came right off. Here you see Ben removing the bottom glass pane by breaking the silicone with an X-Acto blade. He delicately used shims to prop it up to make it easier to get the blade inside. Near the end, I was able to grab my end, pull the glass up delicately not to break it, and he destroyed the last of the silicone, and we were finally able to remove it. Hooray! Once all the extra silicone has been removed, Ben put a new line of silicone on it. The two of us, with the help of these awesome suction cups, put the glass pane in its place and pressed it down. Some silicone spilled out, but we just removed it before putting the frame back on once everything had dried up. Now I'm going to reseal this aquarium for the third time. Hopefully the third time's a charm. Even though I am hard-headed and will do everything in my power to fix this tank, I was really getting to the end of my rope. Of course, when I did the silicone job, there wasn't a pandemic yet, and I honestly thought that this would be the hardest, most exhausting part of my year. Yes, a woman who spent the whole summer in renovations is telling you that this tank was, at that moment, the most exasperating part of my year. I did not expect what 2020 had to offer. The water stress test was a success. I left the water in it for over a week because, well, the pandemic was declared and I had bigger fish to fry. But not my fish, they're happy and healthy. Finally, it's time to fill the tank up and get it running. I'm using aragonite, which is a pH augmenting substrate. Aragonite is the best for African cichlids, which are the fish that I will be putting in this tank. Can't wait to show them to you later. Finally, it's done. Look at this beauty. These are my big mbunas. They've been in 90-gallon tanks since the aquarium broke in September. I'm so happy to put them in my 150-gallon tank. I loved having an mbuna demo tank in my store. So finally, that's it for today. I still have to set up that FX5 on the back of the aquarium because I don't just want an AquaClear filter with the sponge filter. I want an actual FX5, so I'll be able to really pack that tank up. The fish you saw, that's just like the first installment of the new fish that I put in. I'm so happy it's over and I'll be able to get back to more pressing things such as what to do with my business during a pandemic. You know, what has become our new normal. If you like this video, you know there's plenty more where that came from and plenty more to come, so subscribe to my channel. Make sure not to miss a single one. If you want more fishy content in between my videos, well, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and I have a great website where you can shop online. I really fixed it up this week. I worked really hard on it, so go check it out. You can shop online throughout Canada, and we have a special delivery service for everybody who's from the greater Montreal region, except for obviously regions on lockdown. In case you haven't figured it out by my video, I have a local fish store in Terrebonne, Quebec that is right outside of Montreal, And so anyways, all the links will be in the video description for you to go check that stuff out. If you like these fabulous CICHLID GEEK t-shirts, they're on my Teespring store. Every shirt you get encourages me to continue doing what I'm doing, gives me a little bit of money in these really difficult times to, well, you know, just stay afloat. So thank you to everyone who supports me in my Teespring store, in my actual physical store in Terrebonne, Quebec. We do car pickup, so you don't have to come in and have human contacts. And even online in my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.